Our next railway was built to harvest the virgin timber deep in the redwood forests of Northern California. Now today, a trip on the Skunk Train affords passengers an up-close and personal look at these towering giants.
The railroad offers two locations to board their trains, the coastal town of Fort Bragg or at the other end of the line in Willits. The California Western Railroad, better known as the Skunk Train, started out as a lifeline, and it's still a vibrant part of the communities it serves today.
The railroad was built in 1885 as a logging railroad. Charles R. Johnson, who was the founder of the Union Lumber Company, needed a way to get timber from his forest lands back to the sawmill. And as a result of that, the only vital way to do it was to build a railroad.
And people who take a ride along these historic rails today get to see the trees that challenged loggers a century ago and eventually fueled the sawmills as well as the local economy.
You are riding amongst giants, and you feel very small, and you feel like a speck when you're out there. The redwoods are the tallest living species known to man.
You can feel how special it is the first time you see the size of the trees that brought the loggers here all those years ago.
Redwoods are just fantastic. They're huge, and they're just so awesome. There's not a whole lot of these big ones left, and we go right through them.
600 to 800-year-old growth redwood trees, right, left-hand side. They're between 600 to 800 years old, old growth redwood tree.
The best way to see them is on the open-air observation car. You're up close and personal with these natural skyscrapers.
There's absolutely no obstructions between you and nature. When you walk out onto an open-air car, it is standing room only, so people are free to move about the train at their leisure.
Halfway along the trip, it's time for a break. Pull into North Spur and meet the man who makes the Skunk one of the most entertaining trips in the world.
Chugga, 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 chugga up the hill. Puffing and chugging, you know that engine will reach the summit and go down the other side. Whoopee! What a ride!
Greg Schindel was a music coordinator for elementary school students in nearby Willits. In 1988, he was asked to perform with some kids on the train. He learned a few railroad songs and hoped he would have enough music to keep them entertained.
I love the open car. I love the children having a good time. But by gosh, when I finished that ride, I went, here's an opportunity for a musician to have a good time with a lot of people. Hear the car was rumbling and rolling through the land. Get on board, our little children, get on board.
Greg is known worldwide as the train singer and has recorded more songs about the rails than any other performer.
Greg is a character. I think Greg makes the trip.
Me up. He does.
Yeah.
He totally makes the trip. He's a hoot.
Another draw for the folks here is the railway's steam engine. It's the jewel in the crown of this railroad.
It's a gorgeous locomotive. It needs to shine. If it doesn't shine, we don't shine.
Mark Spear rode the Skunk Train years ago as a child and remembered this steam engine well. He never dreamed that one day he would be the caretaker of it.
For me, it harkens back to something that reminisces about days gone by, a certain romance that trains have, something that almost goes without saying, something you can't explain, but you know it's there, whether it's a modern Amtrak passenger train or a 1924 Baldwin steam locomotive. It takes you back, even if you've never been there.
The steam engine is just one of many different forms of locomotive options the railroad offers. At the other end of the line, starting in Willits, you're able to have a pretty unique experience, one that explains where the railroad earned its nickname. In the mid-1920s, the railroad found a cheaper way to run passengers up and down the line, self-contained single-unit motor cars.
They had gas-powered engines, they had pot-bellied stoves that burnt crude oil, and the combination of the fumes created a very pungent odor. The old-timers said that the buses were like skunks. You could always smell them before you could see them.
Operating the railroad's 1925 Edwards motor car today is Glenn Ford, who retired from a career as a firefighter to take up his second dream job.
Well, it's a lot of fun to operate. It's fast, and it's got a manual transmission, which is something I enjoy driving, and it's kind of the emotional favorite of all the engineers.
It's also a favorite with passengers because they're able to see what he sees as you gain more than 1,400 feet in elevation on a track that wraps around the eastern slopes of the California coastal mountain range. The man who created all this, C.R. Johnson, knew how special these trees were. While he was a lumberman, he was also a conservationist, and he set aside huge stands of timber so it could be enjoyed by future generations. He understood the beauty of a redwood forest, which today's visitors get to see firsthand, along with the powerful presence of something like the number 45 steam locomotive.
You know, this is living, breathing history at its best. And it's that type of passion that drives people like me in this industry to do what we do. It's about keeping the American history that we have alive. It's about keeping it there for future generations.
All riding California trains, that's where I want to be.